Hi folks, and welcome back to the Advantage Applications channel. My name's Rich, and today I want to talk about JotForms, specifically how you can control who can submit information through your JotForms using a type of user verification that works with their free plan. If you have their enterprise plan, you can implement genuine user authentication. This is more of a workaround, but I do find it super useful, and you may too. And if you'd like to see more tutorials on JotForms, let me know in the comments, and I will try to make those. But let's go ahead and take a look. So here I am at JotForm.com, and as you see, there are two types of forms you can create: classic forms and card forms. I'm going to show you how to verify users on both types because there is a slight but important difference. We'll start with the classic form. So here's a very basic form that I've started for this demo, and it'll serve as a way to send information whenever certain types of events occur. It has a drop-down list to allow users to select an event location, another one for selecting event type, and a large text field for entering an event description. At the bottom of the form is, of course, the submit button. If I publish this form right now as it is, anyone could fill it out and click submit, which leaves it wide open to collecting junk information or information from invalid sources. So what we're going to do is prevent users from clicking the submit button until they've provided an email address and that email address matches one on this approved users list. To do that, we'll go back into our form and click on Add Element. And I'll just scroll down and select a short text field, and I'll drag it right above the submit button. And for the caption, I'll just type status. Now I'm going to come over to the properties, then select the Advanced tab, scroll down and turn on the Read Only property. Because we don't want users providing their own status, we're going to set this automatically in a bit. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to disable the submit button. So I come up to the settings at the top of the form. Then from the panel on the left, I'll select Conditions. And now under New Condition, I want to select Show Hide field. And we're going to base this condition on the value of the new status element we just added. So in the If drop-down, I'll select Status. Then for State, I'll select Is Empty. And finally, under Do, I'll choose Hide. And for the field, I'll choose the Submit button. I'll go ahead and save that, and we see our newly created condition. Okay, let's preview our form so far. And sure enough, there's no submit button. And if I try to type into status, I cannot. Perfect. Let's stop previewing the form. And now let's add a new element that will allow us to use the list of approved users. I come over to the panel on the left again, but this time I select the Widgets tab. And in the search field at the top, I'll start typing the word Spreadsheet. And you see a few options come up. I'm going to select Spreadsheet to Form, and on the right we see the widget settings open, and near the top there's an Upload File section. This is where we want to upload our approved users list. And an important note here is this currently only works with Excel workbooks. So I'll just drag that over, and now we're ready to specify the access code column. Think of this as the column in your spreadsheet that holds the lookup values you want to check against. And when I click the drop-down list, I see the column headers. I want to select Email. And now may actually be a good time to take a closer look at the structure of the approved users list spreadsheet. So here we see that I have 4 columns: Email, Name, Department, and Status, and several rows of Lumen employees. How many columns your spreadsheet has is up to you, but for this verification method to work, you'll need at least 2, the Email column and the Status column. It's important that the first row contains header labels and that those labels match the names of the elements on your form that you intend to use these values in. Okay, back on our JotForm, I'm going to scroll down to Fill Button Text and change that to Verify, since that is what this widget will actually do for us. And we see that updated the button text on the form. Loading text is fine as is. I'll change the valid code text to Verified, and I'll change invalid code text to Unknown Email. The defaults for everything else are fine, so I'll click Update. And now I'm going to change the widget's caption to Enter Your Email Address. Okay, let's go ahead and preview the form again and see how it functions. I scroll down and I see that the submit button is still hidden, which is what we want until our user is verified. So first I'll enter an email address that isn't on our list of approved users. I'll just say 123@test.com. Then click verify, and we see it gives us an unknown email message and the status field remains blank, which of course means the submit button stays hidden. Now I'll enter an email address that is on the approved list. I'll enter mark.s@lumen.com and click verify again. And now we receive the message verified. The status field is automatically populated with the text from the approved users list status column for the entered email, which is approved, and the submit button appears. Okay, let's leave preview mode and make one more change to clean our form up a little bit. I want to hide the status element but keep it running in the background. So I select the status element, select the properties icon to the right of it, go up to the advanced tab in the properties panel, then scroll down to hide field and turn it on. All right, let's preview it one more time. Now we see the status element no longer shows up. I'll enter another approved user's email, this time heli.r@lumen.com. Click verify, and sure enough, the address is verified and the submit button appears. Okay, now let's make this work on a card style form. So here we have a JotForm designed in card style layout. And again, I have elements to get event location, event type, and event description. And you see right here at the bottom, we have the submit button. And if we preview this form, I can select event location, event type, and enter a description. And here you see the submit button is active and anyone could click it without any type of verification. So let's stop previewing and go back into design view so we can fix that. I'm going to click on add element again and scroll down to the short text element. Then I'm going to drag that right under the event description text element, and you'll see that the submit button has now moved to the bottom of this new element. I'm going to caption this element as status, just like I did in the standard form. And now I need to create a condition to disable the submit button if this status field is empty. To do that, I'll come up to settings at the top of the form. Then I'll come over to the panel on the left and select conditions. And last time we used show hide field, but that won't work this time because if I come down to the do section of the condition and select hide, when I look for the field I want to hide, the submit button, it isn't listed. So let's go back, and this time we'll select enable/require/mask field. In the if section, I want to select the status element that we added last. For state, I'll select is empty. Then in the do section, I'll select disable submit. I'll click save. And now if I go back and preview the form and fill out all of the elements except for status, when I click the submit button, I get a message stating that you're not eligible to submit this form. All right, so far so good. Now let's go back into design view, and I'm going to scroll down to our status element, and just like we did in the standard form version, I'm going to hide this element because we don't need or want users interacting with this directly. Now I'll come back to the panel on the left, and up at the top I'll click widgets, and in the search field I'll start typing spreadsheet again, and there are my options. I'll select spreadsheet to form and drag it right under the status element. The settings panel opens on the right, and I'll upload the spreadsheet with our approved users, just like I did in the standard form version. And I'll set email as my access code column. I'll change the button text to verify. Loading text is fine as is, but I will change the valid code text to verified, and I will change the invalid code text to unknown email. The defaults are fine for everything else. I'll change the element's caption to enter your email address, and we're ready to preview. Once again, I select the event location, event type, provide a brief description, and status no longer shows up because it's hidden, and we're brought straight to the email verification element. First, I'll enter an email address that I know isn't on the approved list, click verify, and you see we get a notification that the email is unknown. Also, if I try to click submit, I get the "you are not eligible to submit this form" message again, which is exactly what we want. Now, if I enter an email address that I know is on the approved list and click verify, the notification says verified. And if I click the submit button now, it works. JotForms is a powerful tool for gathering info from people online, and it works flawlessly on computers, tablets, and phones. And again, if you'd like to see more tutorials on JotForms, please just let me know in the comments and I will try to do them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.